Jazz, das ist eine ernste Sache, da darf man nicht lachen, da muss man einfach zuhören.
Every now and then, someone comes along and leaves a lasting impression on you. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, it can be very inspiring. This happened to me recently when I made the acquaintance of brilliant Swiss musician and composer, Stefan Signer. Up until recently, I had never heard of Stefan Signer. That was until I received an email from him congratulating me after he had watched some of my Frank Zappa analysis videos. He offered to send me the full conductor's score of Frank Zappa's Bobbin Dacron and Sad Jane. About a week later, it arrived, and of course I was very happy to receive it. It seemed as if we had been brought together by our mutual awareness and appreciation of the music of Frank Zappa. Since our first correspondence, Stefan and I have developed a friendship and a shared respect for each other's musical work. And although I've only known him for a short while, I feel like I've known him all my life. He's one of those rare breeds of composers who's equally at home writing a 3-minute rock song as he is writing an intricate and complicated piece of orchestral music. There seems to be no level of distinction in terms of the seriousness and craftsmanship applied to these musical undertakings. And it's probably one of the reasons why Stefan sits at the fringe, indifferent to the follies of the mainstream. Stefan's musical education is autodidactic. He's a real firm believer in learning by doing. Something about the autodidact seems to engender idiosyncratic tendencies, and sometimes these tendencies cultivate a certain compositional voice that runs counter to accepted norms. The benefits of not being tarnished by musical dogmas such as rules about what you can and can't do with harmony and counterpoint make way for unique forms of expression. As in nature, if cells develop without any potential for random mutations, diversity and progress are lost to the ravages of time. In Stefan's music, there's a great sense of freedom where anything is possible. He's not bound or restricted by traditional rules and formulas. Instead, he creates his own. He divides his entire work into 3 creative phases: the bandleader years from 1966 to 1986, the composer years from 1986 to 1993, and the writer years from 2004 onwards. In the early part of the 1970s, he began to develop his career as a rock musician and composer, and led several bands and ensembles during this period. One of his most successful projects during this period was Infrastef's Red Devil Band, Infrastef being an alias of Stefan's, and in 1979 released the first album, I Ain't Gonna Work No More at the Gas Station. The album was released by Gold Records and comes in this gatefold design. If we have a look on the inside, we have the lyrics there and an interesting combination of colors and fonts, and this image of the dentures there, which reminds me of the recurring artwork you find on some of Frank Zappa's albums. And then the image of the gas station here, which of course is the main theme of the album, but also the main theme of a lot of Stefan's work during this period. It really is a great album, and a very interesting mix of musical styles and dynamic vocal performances from Rudy Pasadena, who sounds like a cross between Jim Morrison in his later years and Captain Beefheart. There are some straight-ahead rock songs on here with catchy riffs and humorous lyrics, but there's also some intricate and elaborately composed pieces of music that share similar titles, such as Gas Station Instrumental Variations, Gas Station Reprise, Gas Station Vocal Variations. In fact, Gas Station Instrumental Variations owes as much to Frank Zappa's Uncle Meat and Lumpy Gravy as Gas Station Reprise does to Burnt Weenie Sandwich. Another piece of music I like from this album is 2 Miles on a Brown, which is an instrumental piece that has this soaring synth solo played by Peter Scherer. It's really wonderful, and it's sort of more in the fusion style. When we get to the end of the album, the last track on side B is the Gas Station Vocal Variations, which is sort of witty and humorous a cappella piece of music featuring 3 vocalists, Jeffrey Newman, Tim Harrell, George Johnson. It's really cool way to finish the record.
My overalls from the gas station. I ain't gonna clean no car at the gas station. I pack my nylon underwear back from winter '66. Even my brand new French shirt is washed and ironed fresh and clean. A bum 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 bum. A bum 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 bum. I ain't gonna work no more.
In 1980, Stefan spent many months preparing, organizing and composing orchestral snack music, a composition made up of 11 pieces. Essentially, it's a suite. This was a big orchestral project and received its world premiere August 21st, 1980 in St. Gallen, Switzerland. It was performed by the St. Gallen Symphony Orchestra and the Red Devil Band. At the time, orchestral snack music comprised of newly written music, but also rearrangements and reorchestrations of some of the rock pieces of music that appeared on the Red Devil Band albums. This is a copy of one of the pieces from Orchestral Snack Music, and just looking through it, it's absolutely beautiful. I don't know if you can see that on the camera so well, but his notation is immaculate. It's so neat and tidy, and just looking through it, you can just see that, you know, here's a guy who knows exactly what he's doing with the orchestra, and not only knows what he's doing, but being incredibly creative at the same time with orchestral instruments and the way the orchestral instruments are combined with the band, the rock band setup. Very, very clever. In 1981, Stefan flew out to Los Angeles to visit Bob Seger and Chicago guitarist Duane Bailey. As it turns out, Bailey was a big fan of the Red Devil Band. Stefan also visited Don Preston from the Mothers of Invention in Santa Monica. Stefan told me that Preston was a really interesting and cultured man, and Preston had shared with him some stories of, you know, working as a musician in the early 1960s in Los Angeles. Even shared some Frank Zappa stories, which were less than flattering. The other reason Stefan was out in Los Angeles was to form a band. With the support of his Swiss management at the time, he was going to be putting a band together with Don Preston, Jimmy Carl Black, and Robbie Krieger, the Doors guitarist. And unfortunately, Stefan became homesick and tired of America and flew back to Switzerland. So that band didn't actually happen. I guess one can only imagine what that would have been like with Stefan at the helm. Nevertheless, it wasn't a wasted journey. Inspired by the time he spent with Don Preston, he wrote this amazing piece of music called Preston's Day Off in Santa Monica. In 1982, Stefan released the second album from Infrastef's Red Devil Band, Average Sized and Empty. Now, this is another great album with an interesting mixture of musical styles, great compositions and fantastic musicianship. Some of the narratives similar to those from Gas Station. Stefan has a real interest in American culture and uses that as a springboard to cover other topics for his narratives. And like Gas Station, the musical contrasts are quite striking too. Side A is predominantly of the rock and pop orientation, but when you turn that record over and get to side B, it becomes really funky. Just some killer grooves on this side, really great. The other one I like is Italian Shoes. In 1984, Stefan released I'm Alive, which is a rock concept double album. The music on this album is more consistent. It's mostly made up of rock and pop, and every now and then there are these little experimental interjections, but it's pretty much consistently rock and pop, and markedly different in that sense to the previous two albums. It's also an interesting album because it features Craig Twister Stewart, who was the harmonica player on Joe's Garage by Frank Zappa. It also has heavyweight Mahavishnu Orchestra drummer Billy Cobham. Between 1985 and 1986, Stefan took more of a backseat and focused his attention on music producing. He was a music producer for Susie Wong Hotel, one of his last projects as a band leader. The music was kind of pop-orientated, really, and doesn't have any of the characteristics of his earlier style of music. I think this was an intentional decision to make a sort of more pop-orientated project and to see what would happen with that. In 1986 marked the end of the bandleader years and the beginning of the composer years. The compositions for More Music from the Gas Station were recorded in Amsterdam in 1987 and conducted by Jim Gordon. This is an example of some of the artwork that accompanied More Music from the Gas Station. Looks like a little holiday pamphlet. It's quite cute. And when you open it up, matter of fact, some of you may even recognize the style. It's actually designed by Cal Schenkel, who did a lot of the album artwork for Frank Zappa during the 1970s, such as Overnight Sensation and One Size Fits All. And on the back, there are some other pictures of the ensemble rehearsing, and Jim Gordon here, the conductor, and some other text that contextualizes some of the pieces. It's a really nice little addition to the album. In 1993, Stefan released Mouldy Figs, which is made up of 3 long pieces of music. It really is a collage work where he's taken speech and sound effects, sections of orchestral music and rock music, and assembled it in a very scattershot way. Some of the music was recorded in the 1970s and hadn't been released officially, so he had taken the opportunity to put some of that music on this album. 2004 marks the third creative phase of Stefan's work, and since that time he's been writing, painting, playing the Turkish saz, reinterpreting traditional Apenzil songs, or renovating as he likes to call it, and archiving his music legacy. And he's all his music is preserved at the Appenzell Ausserrhoden Cantonal Library. So his musical legacy is in safe hands. It's a great body of work consisting of hundreds of compositions and various other artifacts. Stefan also has a brilliant website. It's kind of a placeholder really for all his music and his discography, his history, his interests. It's also very funny and quite interactive. And I just wanted to show you a little clip of it. For me, Stefan is like an unsung hero. You know, he's achieved success, but not the success that he deserves. He's left an amazing body of work. He's truly inspiring, not just musically, but as a person. He's very poetic, thoughtful. He has a lot of wisdom and also a great sense of humor. And I really wanted to pay respect by doing this video. In my own small way, let some people out there who may be interested in his work know that he exists and that there's this great music waiting to be discovered. So I just want to express thanks to Stefan Signer.